back live previewing UFC on ESPN Plus. Joseph Benavidez versus Davidson Figueiredo. I'm your host, Preston Ekdahl. As always, joined by my co-hosts at Slaughterhouse1 on Twitter. Jeff, how we doing?
What up, everybody out there in Twitter gambling land?
Gambling, YouTube, Twitter, we're everywhere.
What's going on? We have a good card. I keep saying good card. Yeah, kind of the same card as last week. Last week was up and down, pretty split, coin flips all over the board. Yeah. This week we got UFC Norfolk, and it's going to be, I think they're getting a little better. Cards are getting a little better as we go on.
Yeah, the main fights have been good, but like you say, some other fights aren't quite as good. But as always, if you're gonna bet, you guys have to use mybookie.ag. Go to mybookie.ag, enter promo code PUBSPORTS. You'll get a 50% deposit bonus with a minimum of $99 deposited. So we're going to take our lines from mybookie.ag, hop on these picks, and yeah, let's get it going.
Cool. Well, is there anything that stuck out from last week you want to recap?
Yeah, we can talk over the fight. So the first fight, as we mentioned, Shayna Dobson was overvalued. She was minus 210. She gets knocked out in 40 seconds. So that was rough. Angela Hill wins a decision. Good win for her. Kai Kara France wins a decision. Good win for him. Easiest bet on the board to me, Keenan Song by KO. We called that one, people.
Money.
That was a $2,200 to win a $1,000 bet if there ever was one. He knocks this guy out in 2 minutes. Great. Easy money there. Jake Matthews, hometown kid, gets a decision. Jalen Turner fights a guy who should never fight in the UFC again. Joshua Kulebo, he looked horrible. Jeff had a great call here. Zubaira Tukakov knocks out Kevin Aguilar in the first round. Even money.
Good pick. Yeah, Aguilar didn't look so sharp.
Yeah.
How can you if you get knocked out?
Yeah, clipped and then dropped. This was kind of a decisive fight. Brad Riddell wins a split over Magomed Mustafayev.
I think that Mag won that fight, in my opinion. This was a hometown decision for me. Riddle, I don't think he won that fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was
the other dude had 8 out of 10 takedowns. I mean, he controlled takedowns. I don't know when you have 8 takedowns in a fight, how are you not winning?
Yeah, the judging, that's what's making it harder and harder to bet on these fights. The judging is very, like, you almost have to only pick the fighter that's going to dominate or can get the knockout. Because when it goes to judges' scorecards, 9 times out of 10, you feel like you're on the wrong side.
It's crazy, man. It's bad. But
yeah.
Anyway, so we move on. This hometown guy did not get so lucky.
Yeah,
he got knocked out right away.
Bad. Yeah, he looked horrible.
I mean, that was within the first minute he gets knocked out by De Lima.
Yeah, he was horrible.
And then you go to the best bet of the night. We both had her, and we both told you to take her. Heavy. Yan Carolina, she broke her face. She needs to get out of the UFC. She's done. If Dana doesn't save her, hopefully somebody will. Move on.
This was tough.
This was a tough fight. We were both on the wrong side here. Jimmy Crute comes out ultra aggressive, just jumps on top of this guy, gets some kind of weird armbar. Kimura. I mean, it's just sick the way he did it. He set it up, and this fight was over in the first round. Within the first minute, I feel like Mikel was done.
Yeah, that was it was tough because there was a lot riding on Mikel, and then he loses, and then we move on to the main event. Split decision again. Hooker, hometown kid, gets the decision over Paul Felder.
And what do you know? The hometown kid again wins. Hooker by far wins the first round, comes out very aggressive, straight jabs all the way. Then the next 4 rounds, I feel like he starts falling off. Felder starts finding his range more, always walking forward. I don't know. I think Felder won this fight, but again, you leave it in the judge's hands. Hometown's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, it was what we said though on the show. Too close to call. Like if you were putting all your eggs in that fight, that's not the fight to do it. Like
Felder seems to be like, we heard the news. Apparently, that might have been his last fight.
Yeah, but his coaches denounced that, and
then he came back out and said, didn't he say a fight in Ireland? Like a question mark, leaving it open that he might be fighting on a certain card.
Okay.
Yeah, he tweeted something out. We have to go look at that tweet again, but we're not. So we're going to move on to what really matters, and that's winning money. And we've won money. If you've listened to us the last 3-4 weeks over the last year, we've won money. We are very good at picking the right side. The last few cards have been off because Preston and I have been on the wrong sides of each other. When we line up together, I mean, there's no one better than us. So we're going to get at it right now.
For sure. So we open the card with Sean Brady battling Ishmael Nardiev. Not bet online. MyBookie.ag. What's the line with them?
All right. So MyBookie has Nardia at -128. Sean Bradley at -102. The over and under 2.5. Over -295. Under +235. Man, I'm gonna make this pretty short and sweet. I'm going with the younger, more aggressive Ismail Nardini. Sean Brady's good. His record looks good, but if you look at his record, he hasn't really fought anyone, so his record's kind of padded in a way. Nardini just seems to be a little bit longer, he's got great kicks. To me, I think he's a little bit more experienced in the UFC octagon, and he's younger, more hungry. And I'm going with him at 128. I'm going to pick the side. I'm going to flip a coin. I'm going with Nardini.
Yeah, I'm on Ismail Nardiev by decision. He's technically much better than Sean Brady. Sean Brady got a good win his last fight against Court McGee, but Court McGee's kind of on his way out. Nardiev rolled Sayer Badazarda his last fight. Got taken down at will against Chance Rencounter, but that won't happen this fight. I think it's a stand-up battle.
Yeah, and that's your only worry are the takedowns. But yeah, you're right. The stand-up battle and man, like I said earlier, I mean, you can look at Bradley. This is one of those paper records where they got the line wrong. I mean, I don't see why.
Yeah, it seems a little low. It
right.
seems a little low to me, but you know, it seemed low for Zubara Tukov against Aguilar, and he knocked him out in 2 minutes.
Exactly.
So, yeah, Nardiev is the consensus pick here.
Great. I like that. So let's move on to the next fight. Who do you have the next fight on the card?
So it's Spike Carlisle against Elon Cruz.
Currently, my bookie has Elon Cruz at -195. On the other side of that, you have Spike at +160. Over and under 2.5, over -200, under +160.
Yeah, now this is where we're getting into the classic UFC fight nights. Carlisle's a UFC debut here, and Cruz has only fought once, which was on the Contender Series. Cruz actually looked good on the Contender Series.
Very good.
He got a good knockout, but this Carlisle guy has, from what I've watched, looks like better ground, but he's a lot shorter and like smaller. So he's 5'7", Cruz is 6'1". Yeah. So if he can't get him down, Cruz is gonna win. But I think if he gets him down, his jiu-jitsu's better and he could get a tap. But the line is probably what, Cruz 160, 180?
No, it's -195 for Cruz.
Oh wow, that's a little higher than I thought.
So he's going up. Spike Carlisle is +160.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna go. I guess I'll take Cruz here. It's a tough fight because I don't know much about this Carlisle.
Yeah,
guy.
Carlisle, the alpha ginger, very aggressive. This guy's going to come out and he's going to move forward. 5'7", like Preston said, he's small. Elon Cruz is huge in this division. 6'1", freaking wingspan of some heavyweights. I mean, the guy's long as heck. You worry about these big guys, they get taken down quite easily, but Elon Cruz, being as long as he is, has figured out, I think, the last few fights how to use his length. He's going to kind of use those front kicks, his big old knees. Spike's going to come crashing in. Those big old knees are going to be blazing. I got to go with Cruz here. I think he's more experienced. I think he's the better fighter. 195, maybe a little steep. If you want to look at something close to value, I think the over 2.5 is pretty good at -200.
Yeah,
I could see a decision here because Spike's not going to give up. He is a very tough, aggressive kid, but I think his size is going to really play against him, and I think Cruz is just a better fighter. So we're in agreement. We're going Cruz.
Yeah, we're going with Cruz here. Okay, we move on to Jordan Griffin. Milwaukee boy, Rufus Sport product, fighting TJ Brown. This is an interesting fight because Jordan Griffin's off 2 tough losses, but against quality competition. Iggy and Chaskelly. TJ Brown, this is another UFC debut fighter, which, he fought in the Contender Series, but technically this is his debut. Another tough fight.
Very tough fight. Let me give you the odds before we get into it. So my bookie, they have Jordan Griffith as the favorite, -137. TJ Brown +107. Over and under 2.5. -150 for the over, under +120.
Oh, that's a little lower number for over than you would think, because both guys are kind of more not wrestling, but like they're not like knockout artists. Like they're not like heavy finishers.
No, I agree. Yeah, and this is a very, very tough fight. You got one guy, Jordan Griffith, who gasses out. He's not that good.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in the UFC much longer.
I mean, he is fighting for his UFC. He is crazy, so he's going to push forward, and he's going to throw, and he's going to bang. TJ, he's got all the skills coming up. He's a good grappler, jiu-jitsu guy. But his chin is very questionable. He gets knocked out quite a bit. It's a tough one for me. This is a coin flip. If Griffin can put on that pressure and knock this guy out, he wins. If TJ can survive, he's going to use his ground game, and I think he's going to go after submissions all fight.
Yeah, I'm going to go personally. I'm going to take TJ Brown here. I actually think he has a little more upside. Griffin's just been on a spiral. I'm going to go with Brown.
I agree 100%. I'm going TJ Brown +107, and I'm going the over as well, over 2.5 at +150. I think TJ avoids the big power punches, and I think it's all she wrote. I think TJ grinds this sucker out.
Okay, we move on to the big boys, heavyweights. Marcin Tybura battles Sergey Spivak.
Oh man, this fight. Okay, so you got Marcin is 110, Spivak -120, over and under 2.5, over 2.5 is +105, the under -135. Very tough fight. Neither of these guys are that great in my opinion. Golly, I've had a hard time with this fight, capping it. I'm going to go with the more experienced guy, who I think is Tybura. Spivak just doesn't do anything for me. I think Marcin's takedown defense is pretty good enough to withstand Spivak's takedowns. And I do think Marcin Tybura has a little bit of advantage on the feet. Although Spivak looks a little quicker, I don't think he has quite the experience. I'm going with the flip of the coin here. I wouldn't bet on this, but I'm going Tybura.
Okay, I think this will be our first disagreement. I'm just going to take Sergey. He took a lot of good bombs from Tai Tuivasa, and then Tuivasa just gassed out, and he took him down and choked him out pretty easily. Tybura does have better opposition, but Sergey, he's like younger. He's on the rise. I'm going to go with Sergey. Like Jeff said, coin flip fight. it could go either way, but gonna take the chance with the big Sergey Spivak. So we move on to one of the more entertaining fighters in the UFC, Luis Violent Bob Ross Pena, going up against, surprise, surprise, another debutant fighter in the UFC in Steve Garcia. He has one fight in the Contender Series, but this is his UFC debut.
Yeah.
So,
So my bookie has Luis Pena currently at minus 285. Steve Garcia's plus 235 over and under 2.5, minus 185 over, under plus 145. This is kind of a no-brainer. Although if you set this fight and you give Steve Garcia time, I think he could make this very interesting, and he still can. Steve Garcia is no slouch. He's got power. He likes to get dirty. And Luis Pena, we've seen sometimes he's not mentally prepared, although he's had a full camp for this. So that's strictly, and he has a slight size. Well, Garcia's pretty damn big for this class. I'm going Pena just for the reason that, I mean, Steve took this fight on Monday, I think.
Yeah, it's a very late notice.
He's had zero notice for this, and I think Bob Ross is going to come in ready and focused. It's the only angle I could see.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Jeff here. Pena arguably could have won his last fight. He lost a split. Before that, he ran through Matt Wyman, who shouldn't have even been in the UFC at that time. But Pena's just big and long. He gets those takedowns, those knees,
nasty elbows,
those punches, the clinch. He's good, and the UFC seems to want to push him a bit. So I'm gonna take. Actually, did you say 2.5 is the total round?
2.5 over is 185.
See, I'll be honest. I would take a shot with under 2.5, and this fight ending.
Under is plus 145. Yeah, you could see that, but I'm telling you, and I'm going to say this right now, Steve Garcia is no slouch. He's a tough guy, man. And he's big and he's strong.
Yeah, he's good, but
I don't think Bob Ross is that good. I believe he's a little overrated, in my opinion, especially Bob Ross's takedown defense. We've seen him get taken down a million times. We'll see how Steve plays this out. Tougher in my decision, but
yeah,
if you're going with the under, then that's a good bet. Plus 145.
Yeah, with Pena.
Getting some money there.
We're both on Luis Pena.
We're both on Pena, but I think it's going to be closer than everyone thinks.
Okay, we move on. Brendan Allen, another Rufus Sport fighter, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, battling Tom Breeze, who I believe is British. Yeah, he fights out of England. Interesting fight here.
Very interesting fight. Before you get in, I'll give you the odds. Tom Breeze minus 140. Brendan Allen catching the point plus 110. Over under 2.5 minus 110 over under minus 120.
See, I would have switched the line because I'm going with Brendan Allen. Allen looked good his last fight against Kevin Holland. Holland is another one of those hype prospects, and he pretty much got ragdolled. But Holland, he fights like an idiot.
He does. He got caught with that stupid guillotine last fight or something like that.
He got choked out. And he'll play the ground game and put himself into guillotine chokes and everything.
Yeah, Holland fights like a...
Yeah. But the UFC pushes him. He fights actually soon as well. But
yeah, he does.
Going back to this fight, Brendan Allen, I think, is just better ground fighter. England's notorious for having pretty bad takedown defense, bad wrestling. And this Tom Breeze guy, his record doesn't impress me. He beat Daniel Kelly, who's an old man, Keita Nakamura, who's a journeyman, and this Cathal Penshred guy. I'm pretty sure he trains with, Connor, and he's not that good either.
Right.
So I'm just going to go with Allen. I could see sub. I could see decision. Him as a dog, though, is very intriguing. So he might not be as sharp on the feet, but I think he gets it to where he wants it, and he wins the fight.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. I think that Allen, I think this fight's closer to a pick'em, but taking the dog all in, Brandon Allen in this, He's got the way better ground game, in my opinion. And like Preston said, this is a paper line. Like Tom Breeze, his fights, he fought really no one great. Although he does have a tad more experience, I don't think it matters. I'm going Brandon Allen all the way.
Okay, another agreement there. So we're rolling pretty good. We move on to very intriguing fight here. Gabriel Silva, the brother of Eric Silva, fights Kyler Phillips at bantamweight, 135 pounds. Gabriel Silva is a madman. What do we have for a line there?
The line here is Silva at, where'd it go? Silva minus 126 is the favorite. Kyler Phillips coming in at minus 104. Over under 2.5. Over minus 210. Under plus 170. Ah, man, this is a freaking good fight. This might be one of the better fights of the night. I'm going Gabriel Silva all the way. I like that price. I think he's got the better all-around game. Personally, I do. I'm looking at his record, and I mean, yeah, I'm going Silva all the way. Who do you like?
Yeah, I agree. Gabriel Silva. This is kind of more of a striker grappler match.
Exactly.
Phillips is more of a ground guy, but exactly. Silva's gonna keep this fight standing.
Silva's no slouch on the ground, though.
Yeah, no, he's good. Yeah, no, I mean he's a Brazilian.
Yeah. Look at his freaking family. Like,
yeah, he's good. But like, why I like Silva the most is he already had that octagon jitters out of the way. He fought Ray Borg his last fight.
Oh, I know.
And if we saw Ray Borg, when did he fight? Last week? Well, right? 2 weeks ago.
No, 2 weeks ago, and you saw that Silva had Borg for the first 7-8 minutes.
Yeah, it was a pretty tough fight for Ray Borg, and Ray Borg just rolled through a top 5 guy. So,
and that was his first fight against Ray Borg, and if you are beating Ray Borg for 7-8 minutes, that is very impressive.
Yeah, that's why I think this line's a little short. I think you're getting good value here with Gabriel Silva,
and this is Phillips' debut in the UFC. At least Gabriel Silva has one.
Right. And
he's been in his brother's corner. Like, there's advantages to that. Phillips I think he does have a Gracie background.
Yeah, he's more of a jiu-jitsu
I think he's trained by the Gracies, of course, like who isn't?
Yeah.
But anyway, Gabriel Silva all the way at that price. He's going to be a little too much for Phillips in Phillips' debut.
All right, another agreement there. We move on. Grant Dawson, who unfortunately missed weight by 4.5 pounds, fights
dumbass
Derek Minner. Derek Minner is a very experienced fighter. He fought Herbert Burns in the Contender Series, and he gave Herbert Burns hell for 2 minutes, and he just got pretty much put himself in a triangle choke and got tapped out. But he fights like every other month. Great experience. He comes to fight. Grant Dawson, though, great wrestler. Grant Dawson just wrestles the hell out of this guy, wins a decision.
Yeah, and there's a theme behind Minner is that all of the fights are exciting for the first minute or two because that's all they usually last. If it goes past that, Minner's in trouble. Grant Dawson in this, same thing. Dawson's kind of been a loudmouth, cocky little prick, though, this fight. He's been all up in Derek's face, talking a lot of trash. I think that comes out. Derek comes out very aggressive the first 2 minutes, like he always does. And he's going to put Grant Dawson in some trouble, but Grant's smart enough. He's going to have a great corner. He's too much, man. He's going to have first 2 minutes. First round's going to be tough. The rest of the fight, Grant Dawson's going to put on the show. Grant Dawson all the way. He's gone up the right direction. Minus 105 for him. It's almost unbettable. Minner's plus 355. The over and under in this, over 1.5 is plus 120. I do think it goes over. I think Dawson wrestles the full 3 rounds, and Minor's going to gas out come middle of the second round.
Yeah, no, I like that too. Yeah, I think Dawson just takes him down at will. And I mean, he could maybe ground and pound him, but 1.5 is just 7.5 minutes. So it's not 2.5.
Grant Dawson's not horrible on on the striking. He reminds me a lot of Krause. I guess Krause is his trainer, right?
James Krause.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have some of the similar striking things they do. But yeah, Dawson's wrestling's what got him here, and that's what's going to keep him his hand raised on Saturday night.
Okay, another agreement there. We move on. Megan Anderson battles, I believe, another UFC debutant in Norma Dumont Viana. Megan Anderson's just a big girl.
Let me get you this real quick. Megan minus 235. Dumont plus 195. Over and under minus 155. Over 1.5. Under 1.5 plus 125. Like you said, Megan's a big girl. God, I'm not very impressed with her at all. Her ground game's not very good.
Yeah, she can't. She has nothing on the ground.
Dumont I've watched one. The only thing I could find on her is she looked very good on the ground.
Yeah, no, she's a good jiu-jitsu girl.
And she's a good striker. You got to worry about the level of competition here. That's the only thing, in my opinion, and the length, of course. Megan got the length. Megan looked good. Or Megan, I always call her Megan, but Megan looked good last fight. She finally got a victory, didn't she?
Yeah, it was easy like
knockout.
Like a layup.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's something someone brought to my attention, after doing some reading and some studying, that Megan struggles with anxiety and depression and all the things that come with PTSD and all that stuff. And she said, I watched an interview with Erlani back, and she said that she her last fight, she almost didn't called it off because of her anxiety. It was so bad.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And you wonder in someone's head when they have problems like this. Cowboys admitted it as anxiety before a fight, how he gets the whole nervous butterfly, like very bad, very bad. You wonder how that translates in their performance. I think we've seen it with Megan. Sometimes she doesn't even want to try when she gets on the ground. This is a tough fight for me, man, because Dumont has no experience in the UFC.
Right.
Megan needs to win this for this weight class. She's so long. You'd think she would. Who do you like?
Well, I was gonna take Anderson probably just by knees, but you know what? We'll see, because there are going to be some dogs that win and are going to mess some stuff up. We're like, this happens every card.
I know.
So this could be it, because I'll be like the next few. It's pretty chalk. So, but I'm gonna just take Anderson by decision, because I think if she gets out of the first round, that's when this Dumont's gonna be able to take her down if she can.
Right.
If she gets out of the first round, it's gonna be pretty clinical striking for her. I'll go with Anderson by decision.
I will also go Anderson, just because I think the leap up for Dumont's going to be too much. UFC's the top-notch fighters, and Dumont's not there yet. So I think it's going to be too much. I'm taking Anderson. I do like the over, though, minus 155. We don't see a lot of overs, or we don't see a lot of unders cash in women's UFC. This is a line strictly because Megan came off a first-round knockout, and I think this Norma Dumont's a lot tougher than people are led to believe. I'm going over 1.5 minus 155.
Yeah, that's a good bet. Okay, we move on to Ion Kutalaba battling Magomed Ankalaev. Tough,
God,
interesting fight here. Interesting fight.
I think it's a tough fight. It's hard for me to always back Ion Kutalaba because I've lost my ass on him a dozen times. I always wonder, will he ever put it together? Because he's one strong, tough SOB, and he's got power in those hands. The over and under in this, in the line is
225.
Yeah, where are we here? Okay. Oh, Kutalaba plus 195. Favorite is Magomedov minus 235. Over and under 1.5 minus 140, under plus 110. Go ahead, because I'm still making up my mind. I think this is a lot closer. I've seen flaws in both of these fighters, and I'm not ready to hang my hat or give up on Eon yet. Maybe you can convince me otherwise.
Yeah, no. So originally, I actually liked Kutalaba, but that's just recency bias because he smashed Khalil Roundtree quick. But as you said, Kutalaba tends to just make like mental gaffes in his fights. Like he dominated Glover Teixeira for the first round. I was in Vegas at the time. I was like, there we go. This is what he's gonna do. Second round, once he gets taken down, he was like a fish out of water.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what's going on? Just try to get up, like do something. He did nothing. Ankalaev, typical Russian, big Russian, hard puncher, hard striker. He has one loss in the UFC to Paul Craig, which, let's face it,
it's a fluke.
Yeah, there was
last 10 seconds.
Yeah, and then he gets triangle choked.
But that shows you, though, this guy gives up. Like, dude, he could have lasted fucking 2 more seconds. He would have won.
Yeah, the decision.
He came crying like a little baby. I can't stand that. Like, he didn't even try to hold his breath.
But he's good because like he has good power in his hands. Just his background, he's a good wrestler. Kutalaba, if it's like a standing affair, he could catch him, and I think that's why they put the round prop at 1.5 and like clip him. But if Kutalaba doesn't clip him, Ankalaev is gonna dominate this fight. So I'm gonna go with Makhmed Ankalaev by decision. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Oh man, my mind and brain want to tell me Ankalaev, but I'm going Kutalaba for the dog plus 195. I think in the last fight I saw, Ankalaev took some shots, and if he takes some shots against Kutalaba in the first round, he's going to go down. I'm banking on Kutalaba to win this in the first round knockout. He comes out like a beast. His name's the Hulk. He comes out very aggressive. He has switched camps, I believe, and he's been working real hard on his takedown defense. I'm going to take a shot. Like I said, I want to believe the other guy can win, but I'm going to take a shot with Kutalaba.
Okay, we move on. Co-main event time. Pretty crummy co-main event.
I know.
It is what it
now
is.
It is.
Felicia Spencer battles Zara Farn dos Santos. Yeah, go ahead.
No question here, right? Yeah, you got to go with the heavy dog. She's going to dominate on the ground. We saw her stand toe-to-toe with Cyborg. She has a chin on her. I don't think there's anything Sarah can do to freaking take out Felicia. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, she's like minus 800. So maybe if you can get a prop of her to win inside the distance, her to win by submission, you can lower that juice. But yeah, she's going to get her down and she's going to get a choke.
Yeah, let me pull up those. Damn it, I just lost it again. I agree 100%. Although these odds probably don't matter, I'm going to pull them up anyways. For my bookie purposes. Yeah, she is a minus 860 favorite. Sarah is plus 535. Over and under is plus 115. Over is plus 115. Under 145. You know how we feel about women's fights. They always go over.
Yeah, but this girl got tapped out by Megan Anderson in her last fight.
I know. So. I agree with you 100%. Felicia, first round knockout. Or first round tap out, ground and pound, whatever you want.
Submission. Yeah, that's a pretty easy one. So we move on. Big fight here, main event. Unfortunately, it's only a flyweight title shot for one man, that man being Joseph Benavidez, because Davidson Figueiredo missed weight today. So
very disappointing.
Yeah, so still a good fight. Benavidez versus Figueiredo. I think the line's creeping up to Benavidez.
It keeps going up. Now it's at 140 on my bookie, which is pretty good compared to some other odds makers out there. I've seen it a lot higher at 150 all the way up to 165, minus 165. So my bookie, you're catching a good deal right now. Joseph Benavidez, if you like Joe, minus 140, Davison plus 110. Over and under. Over, since this was a championship fight.
It's still, yeah.
Over 4.5. minus 165, under 4.5 plus 135. I'm torn on this fight, man. Joe B, Benavidez, one of the all-time best ever.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's been in so many battles. He's only got one loss. Or is it? No, he's got more than that. Let me check it.
Yeah, he's lost 5 times.
Okay, yeah, but he's lost to, I mean, the best of the best.
Cejudo, Pettis,
Cruz,
Mighty
right?
Mouse, and Dominic Cruz.
Okay, yeah, the best of the best.
Yeah.
The guy's one of the all-time best fighters in the world. Sergio, he looked pretty shitty against. That was a fluke. He come off a knee surgery.
Yeah.
Man, this fight's very tough for me because Figueiredo is one of my favorite fighters, and I 100% love to back this guy. He's only getting better too. Man, go ahead. There's what I could argue for both sides, to be honest with you. Joseph Benavidez, the San Antonio native, the homeboy, the freaking he's super fast. He's way quicker. Great grappler, probably better. He might even have an advantage in the hand department in every aspect except for power.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So we actually have a comment here from someone. He says Benavidez takes the win, and I agree with this commenter. My issue with Figueiredo, if you like Figueiredo, the better bet is under 4.5 rounds plus 135 because he's not going to win a decision against Joseph Benavidez.
He's not.
So if you like Figueiredo, you could take Figueiredo straight for plus 110 or take him plus 135. Maybe he clips Benavidez rushing in for a takedown, knocks him out. I don't see that. Benavidez is one of probably the best fighters not to own a title in the UFC, and I think he finally gets it. So I think Benavidez first round gets dicey. He trades a little too much. Second round, he starts putting it on Figueiredo. Third round, Figueiredo wonders, why the hell am I in this fight? And I could see Benavidez honestly getting a ground and pound finish round 4, round 5. My issue with Figueiredo is he lost to Jussier Formiga. He got taken down at will in that fight. That's not Benavidez wrecked Formiga his last fight. Now, I know MMA math doesn't always work, but I think Benavidez should be 200, 250. I like Benavidez a lot.
Yeah, and you still look at that fight, Formiga, where he got taken down by Formiga the whole time.
But
he still was a close fight.
Because he caught him. Like he caught him a few really times. Good power, yeah.
And that's just kind of my worry with Joseph. Joseph, when's the last time he fought? I mean, 7 months ago. So he's going to be ready to go. This sounds like the writing on the wall type shit. He almost deserves the belt more than anyone. Yeah. In fact, I think he does deserve it more than anyone.
I mean, we'll be like, I'll be honest, the books will take a bath if Benavidez wins, because for every 10 bets on Benavidez, you might see one on Figueiredo. Like, everyone's on Benavidez.
I mean, dude, Benavidez beat Henry Cejudo. Like,
yeah.
man, this is tough. Dawson, man, he's got the power. He can definitely clip Benavidez. It's going to be in the first 2 rounds if he does. Figueiredo, he fights in the thing I don't like about him. He fights in bursts. Like, he attacks, takes a step back, and recovers. Then attacks, takes a step, and he can't do that with Joseph. Joseph's going to full time keep the pressure on. Man. But with that being said, Joseph freaking leaves opportunities for Dawson to knock him out. Figueiredo is a background karate guy. He's got jiu-jitsu. He can scramble. He's hard to get down. Takedown defense is tough. The first 2 rounds, Joseph will have a hard time getting Dawson down. Then later on, like you said, that's where I think the advantage comes in. Benavidez will start cleaning up. With that being said, I'm banking everything on the first 2 rounds. Figueiredo is going to knock Joseph out. That's my pick.
Okay, so we're on opposite sides for 2 fights here. But you know, it is what it is. So
one of us will go 12, 13 and 0, and the other one will go 10 and 2.
Yeah, hopefully.
Or 11-2.
Yeah,
hopefully. Yeah, we'll both take those records. Who cares?
Yeah. So we'll recap. We got a best bet segment here.
Yep.
Like I said, presented by mybookie.ag. We're gonna let Jeff. You go ahead with your best bet of the night.
My best bet is going to be Gabriel Silva minus 126. I think with the value and just all around skill, I think he's going to dominate this fight and win very easily.
Okay, I'm gonna go with actually the opener fight, Ismail Nardiev. I think he easily has this fight won on the feet, standing, picks Brady apart, wins a decision, and moves up the ranks. Nardiev is the bet. As always, guys, if you're watching this, we are sponsored by mybookie.ag. You enter promo code PUBSPORTS. When you make a minimum $99 deposit, you'll get a 50% bonus. So you put 99 in, you get 198, so on and so forth. We're brought to you also live here in San Antonio, Texas at Southtown 101 Bar and Grill. It's Burger Week. Jeff, care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, we got great burger, $5 burgers. It's Burger Week all around town in San Antonio, Texas. We are offering a St. Mary's Swiss. It's a mushroom onion burger. It's very good. Come get it. It's only $5. And have fun. It's a great weekend. It's going to be a decent card, a lot of good action. We're also one last sponsor is Natural Heights. Go see those guys off 1880 Nacogdoches Road. Phone number is 210-592-1060. If you suffer from stress, anxiety, joint pain, PSD, insomnia, they got the stuff that's for you. Natural Heights will help you out 100%. These guys are good guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then we'll be back, as always, next Friday. Good card, it finally. Real good card. Pay-per-view. Adesanya Romero. Zhang Joanna. We'll be back. So enjoy the fights, guys.
Enjoy. Good luck.